Hi, I'm Dr. Sophia Jane, a board-certified urologist. Today I want to talk to you about something rarely discussed in public, yet it silently affects millions of older men common. Mistakes in masturbation after the age of 60. Let me be clear, touching yourself is not something to be ashamed of. In fact, it is often beneficial. But the way many older men approach it can sometimes cause more harm than good, especially to their nerves, prostate, and even mental health, often without them knowing. In this video, I will explain 7 frequent mistakes men over 60 make when it comes to self-pleasure, and what you can do differently to protect your energy, sexual health, and sense of self. Stay with me, because mistake number 6 is rarely mentioned. Yet it might explain why you're feeling less sensitive or not quite yourself. Let's begin. Mistake number 1. Using adult videos too often. Now, I am not here to criticize. Most of my patients have viewed adult material at some point. The issue is this: after 60, your nervous system is not as adaptable as it once was. When your brain is frequently stimulated by fast, intense visuals, your body starts to respond less. If you rely too much on these quick scenes for arousal, your brain may start needing more extreme material just to react. This slowly reshapes how you experience pleasure. As a result, normal touch may feel less satisfying, being close with a partner becomes harder, and getting an erection may feel difficult, not because something is wrong with your body, but because your brain is now used to artificial stimulation. Here's what you need to understand. Dopamine, the chemical linked to pleasure, works differently as you age. When you watch intense content, your dopamine spikes quickly, then drops just as fast. This leaves you feeling drained even after reaching orgasm. Over time, your natural dopamine levels drop, leading to less motivation, low energy, and a lack of self-confidence. What can you do instead? Try avoiding adult videos for a week. Use your imagination or reflect on past memories during self-touch. It may feel less exciting at first, but your body will start responding in its own natural rhythm.
Again,
the key isn't stronger stimulation, it's more meaningful touch. Mistake number 2. Wrong body positioning. You may wonder, does it really matter how I sit or lie down? The answer is absolutely. The position you use during self-pleasure impacts blood flow, nerve pressure, and even your pelvic floor. I have seen men develop lasting numbness, tingling, or even sciatica-like discomfort after years of masturbating in uncomfortable positions, especially when hunched forward or putting pressure on the area between the testicles and anus, known as the perineum. This region contains delicate blood vessels and nerves, and frequent pressure there can eventually cause real harm. So, what do I suggest? Choose positions that support your lower back and let your pelvic area stay loose. Lying on your back with a pillow under your knees or standing with one foot slightly raised are good options. Remember, your body is not as resilient as it was in your teens. Give it the care and support it needs. When your muscles are relaxed and your circulation is good, you not only avoid injury, you actually improve your sensation and experience. Recovery. Mistake number 3. Rushing the process. We live in a fast-paced world, and for many older men, the habit of being quick, quiet, and focused only on the goal often remains, even when there is no real rush anymore. But here is the issue. When you rush, your nervous system stays in a state of alert, known as fight or flight. That keeps your body from fully relaxing and limits both blood flow and hormonal response. Most importantly, it stops your body from getting the full healing and calming effects of climax that were once natural. Pleasure is not only about what you feel, it is also about how your body responds chemically. Slowing down allows your system to release oxytocin, dopamine, nitric oxide, all those natural chemicals that help support better erections, mood, and recovery. A quick finish may seem satisfying in the moment, but it does not really support your overall health. So, take your time. Use your breath, touch, or even sound to stay present. This is not something to rush through, it is a practice. And especially after 60, your body needs more presence, not more pressure. Mistake number 4. Ignoring your pelvic floor. A lot of men believe pelvic floor muscles are something only women need to worry about, but that is not true. Your pelvic floor plays a key role in controlling your urination, ejaculation, and keeping your erection steady. As men age, these muscles can weaken, especially if they have had prostate problems, lower back pain, or spend long hours sitting. When these muscles get weak, you may notice urine dribbling, weaker erections, or even a numbing feeling during climax. But the good news is that these muscles can be strengthened, just like any others. How? Through pelvic floor exercises. Yes. Men can do them too. Just tighten the muscles you would use to stop your urine flow. Hold for 5 seconds, then release. Do this 10 times, 3 times daily. It may feel unusual at first, but the results can be powerful. You gain better control, stronger orgasms, and faster recovery. You have worked hard all your life. You should not let muscle weakness take away your pleasure now. Mistake 5. Doing it too often or not at all. Now, let us talk about how often. There is no fixed answer that suits everyone, but many older men fall into one of two habits. Some continue with the same pace they had in their 30s, not realizing their body now needs more time to recover. Others stop completely, thinking that phase of life is over. Both extremes can cause problems. Too much can drain your energy, irritate the prostate, and raise inflammation. Too little can lead to poor blood flow, tissue decline, and reduced function. So what is the right rhythm? For most men over 60, once or twice a week is usually a good balance, not because it is a rule, but because it allows your body to rest while keeping everything active. Self-pleasure is not only about feeling good, it helps blood flow to the genitals, supports nerve health, and maintains hormonal balance, so pay attention. If you feel drained afterward, it might be too much. If you feel down or disconnected, maybe your body is asking for reconnection. Your body is always sending signals. You just need to pause and listen. Mistake 6. Using too much force or pressure. This is one of the most common and harmful habits I see in older men. And most of the time, they have no idea it is a problem. They often tell me, "Dr. Jane, it does not feel like it used to," or "It takes longer now." And when we look into it further, the cause is often the same: too much pressure, too much friction, or using an overly tight grip. Trying to feel more by using extra force may seem like a solution. But here is the hard reality: force does not bring sensitivity back. It actually destroys it. The penis is made of delicate nerves, fine blood vessels, and soft tissues, all of which become more sensitive as you grow older. When you apply too much pressure or use rough movements, especially over many years, you can create real and lasting harm. I am referring to small tears in the skin, internal scarring, reduced flexibility, and even conditions like Peyronie's disease, which can lead to painful curvature, difficulty during arousal, and weaker erections. These are not short-term problems. They can change how your body reacts permanently. And the impact is not just physical, it affects your mind too. When self-pleasure becomes frustrating or feels like a battle to experience anything, your brain starts associating it with discomfort or failure. This shift can disturb how you feel arousal, affect your confidence, and hurt your emotional balance. So, what do I tell my patients? Respect your body. Use a softer grip. Take your time to warm up. Add lubrication if needed. This is not about being weak, it's about being thoughtful. You have one body. Do not blame it for aging, support it with care. And now we come to mistake number 7, which goes deeper than anything else, beyond physical habits or techniques. Masturbating without emotional connection or clear intention. This may be the most hidden mistake, and honestly, I believe it is the most damaging. Because it is not just about how you touch yourself, but about why too many older men reduce self-touch to a quiet, routine act done in private, without any feeling. Over time, this strips the experience of joy, closeness, and meaning. I have heard men in their 60s and 70s say, "It just doesn't feel like it used to," or "I do not even know why I do it anymore." What is really happening is a loss of connection. The act becomes empty. There is no emotion, no attention. When that happens, your nervous system stops linking touch with reward. You may still climax, but without the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, or dopamine, the motivation chemical. Instead, you end up feeling flat, maybe even a little empty. And when this repeats, it can increase feelings of loneliness and guilt, But here is what I want you to understand. Self-pleasure does not need to be mechanical. It can still be meaningful. It can be a time to reconnect with your body, even if it feels older, slower, or softer, and silently say, thank you. This body has supported you for decades. It deserves kindness, not blame, appreciation, not shame. Be fully present in the moment. Breathe. Slow down. Touch with care. Remember, real intimacy starts with attention, and that includes how you treat yourself. Now let's pause for a second. If you are still watching, that says something. Maybe you have made one or more of these mistakes. Maybe you have felt some of this disconnection. Maybe you have asked yourself whether it is too late to change. Let me be clear, it's not too late. Even now, your body is still communicating with you. All you need to do is start listening. Things naturally change with age, and the truth is, what gave you pleasure in your 30s might not work the same way in your 70s. But this is not a loss. It is an opportunity. A chance to reconnect with your body, improve blood flow to your lower regions, support your nervous system, and bring back balance to your hormones in ways that leave you feeling energized instead of drained. Even if you do not climax every time. Even if what you feel has shifted. The benefits of arousal, good circulation, and mindful intention still matter. For most men over 60, engaging once or twice a week with calm, presence, and care is usually the right balance. Not because it is a rule, but because it helps your body stay active and responsive. And remember, there is no fixed number, no right amount. What truly matters is whether you feel connected, whether you are respecting your body's needs, and whether you are listening and responding with patience instead of pressure. Even if your routine seems fine, one deeply rooted habit can hold you back. It is easy to slip into old patterns, but creating new ones is just as possible when you know what needs to change. So now that we have covered these 7 common mistakes, what comes next? First, let go of the blame. These were not careless errors. They happened because no one taught us any better. No one explained that watching too much adult content can dull your sense, that posture can affect your nerves and circulation, that rushing robs your nervous system of rhythm, that strong pelvic muscles support healthy erections, that doing it too often or not at all can throw your balance off, that pressure does not restore feeling, it damages it, or that touching yourself without emotion is like eating food without taste, technically complete, but emotionally empty. At the center of all these issues is one core problem: disconnection. Disconnection from your body, from your emotions, from your habits, from your sense of purpose. This, more than aging, desire, or technique, is the real issue. Because when you stop noticing what your body needs, when you go numb inside, and when you treat your body like a machine rather than a living part of you, that is when real problems begin. That is when pleasure starts to fade and shame quietly creeps in. But here is the hopeful part. Awareness changes everything. Once you become aware, you begin to notice the small signs, how your body tenses when it is tired, how your breathing shortens when you rush, how your heart softens when you bring more care and attention to what you are doing. From that awareness, healing begins slowly, gently, and on purpose. You do not need a complete overhaul. Just start by being more present. Value quality over frequency. Instead of disconnecting, try paying attention. Instead of just chasing the climax, explore the feeling.
Touch with appreciation. Breathe with awareness.
Let the experience become more than physical. Let it be emotional. Let it be human. Because this stage of life is not the end. It is a change, a deep shift. And even if the energy of youth burns differently now, the quiet strength of experience shines even brighter. You can bring back your energy. You can feel reconnected. You can welcome this new chapter with respect, confidence, and fulfillment, but only if you are open to changing how you relate to your body, not with fear or shame, but with compassion. You have made it through so much in life. You do not need to keep repeating what wears you down. You deserve pleasure that heals, not harms. You deserve calm, not pressure. And yes, that includes intimacy with others, but just as importantly with yourself. No relationship, no partner, and no experience can replace the one you have with your own body. When that connection weakens, everything else can start to feel empty. But when it is strong, when you genuinely respect and pay attention to yourself, everything in your life gets better. Your confidence grows, your energy improves, your health benefits, and even your relationships become deeper. That is the strength of thoughtful, intentional self-care, not just for your private parts, but for your overall well-being. So, what should you do next? Start with something small. Change just one habit this week. Maybe it is how often you engage with yourself. Maybe it is how gently you do it. Maybe it is your approach, your breathing, or your mindset. Pick one thing and stick with it, not to improve performance, but to rebuild connection. That is how new, healthy patterns begin. That is how healing starts. And remember, I am not here to judge you. I am here to remind you that your best years have not passed. They exist in the way you treat yourself now, in how you care for your body, in how you value your pleasure, and in how you take ownership of your journey. Because in the end, this is not just a health discussion. It is a reminder you are still here, still capable, still deserving of deep, real feeling. Masturbation, when done with care and purpose, is not a problem. It can be a powerful part of your health. But when it becomes routine, rushed, full of pressure, or disconnected from emotion, it can quietly take something away. Do not let that happen. Reconnect, rebuild, reclaim. Your body is still sending signals, so begin listening again with kindness, attention, and care. Let's take a step back and bring all of this together. It is easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Life moves fast, daily habits take over, and we stop checking in with ourselves. But your body is still there, speaking to you, even if the voice is quieter than before. If you are still here watching, then let me speak to you, not just as a doctor, but as someone who respects your journey. I have worked with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, and again, I hear the same thing: regret. Not regret for getting older, but for waiting too long. Too long to notice the changes. Too long to recognize what their body was trying to say. Too long thinking that this was just how things had to be. Too long believing they were the only ones feeling this way. But you are not alone, and you are not too late. You now understand the 7 most common mistakes older men make with self-pleasure. And none of them came from weakness or failure. They came from routines, from habits built over time. You did not know your blood flow was slowing. You did not realize your nerves had become more sensitive. You did not think emotions were part of sexual health. But now you do. And that changes everything. Let me say this clearly. There is no shame in seeking pleasure. There is no guilt in using your body to feel at ease, to feel calm, or even just to feel human. What becomes harmful is when we stop being aware. When we treat our body like a machine that should work without rest. Or worse, when we shut down completely. When we give up. Every mistake we talked about: overuse of adult content, poor positioning, moving too quickly, neglecting your pelvic floor, imbalance, pressure, and emotional detachment. All of them are connected to that one deeper issue: disconnection. All of these issues come back to one cause: disconnection. That is what you need to stay aware of. Not age, not desire, not even performance issues. The real challenge is the slow, unnoticed distance that can grow between you and your own sense of pleasure, presence, and body awareness. That quiet disconnection is what truly affects you. But here's the good news: it is not too late. It never was. Your body may not react the way it did at 25, but it still communicates with you. And if you take the time to listen, really listen, it will guide you back to feeling, back to peace, back to strength. Think of your body like an old, trusted instrument. It might need a little adjusting, some patience, a bit of care, but it still works. And when you engage with it thoughtfully, it can produce something more meaningful, more powerful than ever before. So, what can you begin doing today? Start small. Breathe deeper. Slow things down. Be curious again. Do things with awareness, not on autopilot. If something feels off or disconnected, pause. If it feels rushed, take your time. If it feels flat, bring back intention. You are not just touching skin, you are reconnecting with something deeper inside you. Rebuild the connection to your body, one breath, one moment, one choice at a time. I have seen real change in men, genuine growth, when they stop seeing aging as loss and start viewing it as change, as a shift toward a wiser, more mindful version of themselves. You deserve to feel that. You deserve energy. You deserve peace. You deserve connection, especially in those deeply personal, quiet parts of life, because that is where your dignity lives. That is where it can be strengthened or forgotten. So let us rebuild it with patience, with care, and with understanding. Reclaim the part of yourself that may have been ignored, misjudged, or misunderstood. And if this message spoke to you, do not keep it to yourself. Click like, subscribe, and share it with another man who might be quietly dealing with the same things. You never know who might need this reminder. And above all, remember this: your story is not finished. Your best years are not behind you. They live in the choices you make in this next chapter, with awareness, with intention, and with self-respect.